Hello, and welcome to The Cup TV, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality. And you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm your girl, Lana, your resident evil diva, and I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I love me some tea. Her. I'm just drinking out some water because hydration is important. But what I do have that's mostly important is my cup mug. Ooh, panel full of cup mugs. Panel full of cup mugs. Beer, 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 beer. Love Island All Stars Edition. Whew. And you can get your cup mug or any of our beautiful cup merch at lanagcreations.etsy.com. That link will be in the description below. And we do ship internationally and domestically here in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. So there are no excuses unless your post office is moving a little slow. And that's okay because a delay is never a deny. It might come a little slow, but it will get there. So get your cup merch, period. And oh my God, a new bombshell has entered the villa.
A new bombshell has entered the villa. I'm back! Yay!
I mean, you would have to have been here to be back, sir.
I'm back as far as Love Island USA was the last time we covered a Love Island franchise, but I am back. Hello, it is me, Logan Murphy. Say something gay. I am so happy to finally be fucking caught up with this season so I can talk about Love Island All Stars. I am currently drinking some iced coffee out of my beautiful Corey King tumbler because obviously it's sparkly, it's hollow, it's the perfect thing to drink out of while talking about Love Island, of course. Other than, a Love Island bottle, which I still really want to get one.
I really want one.
But no, I'm so excited to finally be back talking about Love Island. Because this season I've gone on a journey, and I'll talk a little bit about it. But I've gone on a journey so far with this season. But I'm happy to be here, so that way you're finally not alone talking about Love Island All Stars.
I love having you here. You know that I do. Never did I mind talking about myself because I'm a yapper.
Well, obviously.
I'm a yapper. I talk. But I do like having someone to talk with. So I'm glad
it's much better that way.
It's cool. It's cool. But I'm glad you're here. So I'm ready to talk about it. But before we jump into it, you all know what to do. Y'all know my mission. I am trying to get 8,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So we need you to subscribe to this channel. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to check us out. And if you don't mind just going down there and hitting that subscribe button, it's right there. It only takes like a half a second to do it. And it's free. Just do that. Thank you. Thank you very much. But subscribe to the channel. And we have 3 other channels that you can subscribe to if you're a fan of Drag Race, Drag, or Eurovision Song Contest, or WWE Wrestling. We have 3 channels for you to subscribe to. Those links will be in the description below, as well as our audio podcast links if you need to check us out on the go, and our Patreon, which is about to start heating up. We have invited some outside forces to give us some ideas and help us out, and we got a lot coming down the pipeline. You do not want to miss all the goodness that we're going to put in the Patreon. So you might want to go and join our Patreon. It's about to get really exciting for you.
I'm still saying in the off season, Lana, maybe we go back and do some old seasons of Love Island. I'm just saying.
You can keep saying all you want. You can keep saying all you want.
Well, frankly, by the time this finishes, we'll be busy enough to hold us over for probably both Love Island US and UK, which we will probably have at the same time again, which is going to be a lot, but hey.
We'll see what happens. But just join our Patreon because we got a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline for you guys. Yes, and of course, you can join our socials at The Cup Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. And anywhere else where the people are, we are going to go there. So wherever the people go,
we're figuring it out.
We're figuring it all out. So, but yeah, let's get into Love Island, because Logan, I
Or-
need to know. I need to
Yes.
know. You mentioned a journey that you took with this
Yes.
season. So I'm going to give you your moment.
Oh
I'm
goodness.
let
Okay.
you I'm going to let you have your moment to talk about all the episodes that you missed, what your journey was throughout the season, who's your
Mm-hmm.
favorites, who you love and who you not loving. Let me know everything that's happening with you in this journey.
Okay, I am going to be honest. The reason I fell behind on this season was because the first couple of episodes for me were a snooze fest. This season, it just like Gaz has been a slow burn for me.
Man,
There's
yes.
obviously like this is my first major dive into Love Island UK in general.
Mm-hmm.
As I know it is, I believe it is for
Yes,
you as well.
absolutely.
So like I don't know these people. I don't know a lot of these dynamics. So like I watched the first couple episodes. It's good. This season has only gotten better as the episodes have gone on, as they've brought in, quite frankly, better bombshells. I think the bombshells have brought all of the energy to this season. And I mean, I think first and foremost, oh Lord, not Ekin-Su, but yes, Ekin-Su. I think bombshell wise, this season has been great. I'm still not loving a lot of the couples that are here though. I gotta be honest. Like I'm entertained and I'm tuning in and I'm watching and the drama is good, but there's not that many people that I actually really enjoy on the season. And two of my favorites were literally the couple that was just dumped. Because for what reason were Olivia and Marcel dumped? For what reason?
What reason at all?
For what reason?
What
The
reason?
strongest couple in the villa getting dumped? I was very upset because I really liked Marcel.
Okay.
I liked Liv. As far as my favorites as of right now, my absolute favorite person is still Catherine. I really like her. I find her very entertaining. I pray to every Love Island god anywhere that she finally finds a man. Even though I did like her with Gaz, I gotta be honest. I understand why they broke
Nas.
up. Is it Naz?
Nas. No,
Well,
it's Nas.
it doesn't matter anymore because he's gone. Spoiler.
Well, could we not do that?
If they're watching this, they've seen the episodes.
Keep with the flow.
Whatever. I really
Oh,
like
good.
them together, but I understand why they, broke up. I'm really happy for Catherine in that regard.
Mhm.
My favorite couples currently are obviously Ekin and Curtis. I have a soft spot for Curtis. I do. I just adore him, and I'm really liking Ekin-Su a lot more than I did on the Traitors. I gotta be honest, because it was prior to this, my only exposure to Ekin-Su was through the Traitors, and I'm really, really liking her. My other favorite couple, I have to say, is Casey and Gabby. I really am enjoying both of them. Gabby, I really, really enjoy, and Casey looks good in a Speedo. Therefore, I'm entertained and invested. Yeah, I think everyone else for me, for the most part, I'm kind of like neutral on. I really like Kaz as well. And we'll talk about Kaz and kind of, her journey has been wild. I really like Montel as well. And we'll talk more about that in this episode. But everyone else, I'm kind of like, and then fuck Ronnie. And I'll talk more about how much I cannot stand this man. Genuinely surprised by the outcome of the fan vote. And we'll talk about it. But yeah, that's kind of how it's been for me. And I'm popping in on a great episode because we just got some crazy, confusing drama that popped up out of nowhere between Scott and Luca in the last episode. And I was like,
huh?
Luca, what? Baby, what are you doing?
It was very wild. And we're going to get right into it because that's where we leave off is the fallout of Vegas night. Let me let me push us to the side because I
Period.
never like to be alone up here, and since you're here, I'm not. But let's do that. So yeah, it was the whole, let me recap you all on where we left off and who is with
Yes,
whom at
please.
this point. So our couples are Ekansu and Curtis,
Period, period.
Catherine and Nas, Elma and Ronnie,
Okay.
Gabby and Casey,
Yay.
Tina and Scott.
What is okay, can we go back to that photo real quick?
They're okay. They didn't have pictures in the villa with them. Please stop. Don't do it.
Oh, okay. I was confused.
Please stop. Okay, because all the bombshells did not take pictures with this background.
Got it.
Grace and Luca, Kaz and Montel, and Harriet and Ron. Those are the couples. Those
Okay.
are who we those are the couples right now. So we leave Vegas night starts and brings up a lot of foolishness, a lot of Scott and Luca. I don't even understand. Okay, number one, let me just say this, and I didn't say this in the last episode,
Uh-huh.
but I'm going to say this now. I did say that UK knows how to make these games full of drama for no reason at all. Like
Well,
these
yes.
drama filled for no reason at all.
Uh-huh.
But I don't like when people answer the questions that are asked and then the person gets upset and then it's like you're just proving the point. Ekansu, I'm looking at you. When that man called you bitchy and then you turned around and bitched him out, point.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
just
Case in point.
Okay, and here's what frustrates me even more because I'm glad you brought it up this episode because I was a little bit because it was something I was going to bring up because obviously I've been a fan. I'm
Mm-hmm,
listening. I'm paying
mm-hmm,
attention to the pod.
mm-hmm.
Um because I need to know how you feel about people as well and I'm glad to know that we are very similar in our thoughts. Shocking no one at all ever. We are very similar with our thoughts. But here's my difficulty with Ekansu is I really like her and I really like her and Curtis. But I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
baby, you do not need to be house mother involved in everybody's
Everything.
drama. But also,
Everything. But
but
I
here's
kind
the
of love it.
thing. But I'm kind of loving it.
I
I
kind
kind
of
of
love
love
it.
it. Like I don't need her to be involved. And I'm worried that if she continues to be so involved in everybody else's relationships, that it's going to end up affecting hers and Curtis's. I'm glad they had their blip that they had a couple of episodes ago, where they had their moment after
Kissing
the
challenge.
kissing game, the kissing challenge. They had their moment. They resolved it. I was really happy to see it was a very quick resolution with them. But I'm like, baby, you don't need to be involved in everyone's drama. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, Ekansu, you little shit stirrer. I'm kind of here for it. Um, but exactly, like, especially what frustrates me about this whole situation with them taking these games too seriously is like, if this was their first time on Love Island, I would understand it a little bit more. I would get it, be like, okay, cool. Like you've seen the process, but you haven't been in. Baby, these are all stars. Y'all done did this process at least once before, if not more. Y'all should know at this point the process of this show, how things work, and you should know better. Point blank, and the period, you should know better.
I've been saying that every week. I'm
I
like,
know
y'all.
you have.
I'm
I'm
like,
just,
they act like they have never been on this show. And it doesn't matter if you came in as a bombshell or OG, if you were there for a second or the whole time. You know how this show operates. And then when you now have history between a lot of people, you know that people can dig into some very personal information about you because now they know you. They know you outside of the show. So they can bring in
Exactly.
outside information into the show. And it's just like, oh my God. Why are we if somebody was to say who's the bitchiest and they say me and I know I've been bitchy, I'm like, you're right. And I'm gonna
And
be
she
that bitch. And I'm gonna be that bitch. And I am that bitch. I'm be that bitch. And I will always be
exactly.
that bitch. Like she should have took it like that instead of getting mad. Well, why would you say me? Why would you do that? And then continues to bitch somebody else.
Okay, I'm gonna run down the list of girls right here. Who else has been bitchy?
Who?
Elma?
Sure.
Like that's legitimately the only other person that I could have picked. And who was it that picked Ekin? I don't even remember who it was.
I think it was Montel.
It
Was
might
it?
have been. I don't even remember.
I
Point
can't even. Or it might have been Ron. I think it might have been Ron who did
point
it.
being, I understand if people don't want to rehash the Ronnie and Elma shit. Because
Right.
it's literally been raked over the
Over the
coals.
coals.
The horse has been beat too many times.
The horse is dead.
The horse is dead. The horse has been dead for days at this point. It's a rotting carcass sitting in the middle of this villa in South Africa. Like I don't need them talking about this Ronnie and Elma bullshit anymore. I'm tired of it. So if that's the case, and that's why, like, because the only other person I would say you could call out in that regard is Elma.
Mm-hmm.
So it just frustrates me. It's like, Ekin, you've done this before. You know what this process is like. You should know. You've been telling everyone to take comments on the chin this entire season, and now when you're faced with that situation, you can't do that. I'm going to be honest. Ekin and Curtis have been my number one most solid couple the entire time, but there's a lot of things about what has happened over the last couple of days that has started to really concern me about their relationship, and it has nothing to do with Curtis. In my opinion, has nothing to do with Curtis.
Look, I know we're talking about 13 and 14, and that's what we're gonna talk about. And it's just, I just know Ekin is on a destructive path with me when it comes to like Curtis, because I feel like a man can only take so much attitude and foolishness and 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 and, and contentiousness in a relationship. You can only give them so much before they like, you know what, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this. And that's anybody. A woman can only take that much from a man of nagginess or entitlement or masculine, toxic behavior before she say enough is enough. And I feel like Ekin is keep pushing. She keep pushing. And it's, I don't know. I'm nervous. I'm nervous.
I'm
and
worried.
I said it from the beginning because I felt like they moved so fast. And even when Curtis recognized that maybe they were moving too fast, he kind of backed off from it, was like, well, no, it's fine. And I'm like, nah, bro. When you start feeling that in your heart, you got to start listening to your gut. And if your gut is telling you, we might be moving too fast, we might need to step back a little bit, maybe you should step back. But
I'm happy that he's happy with the pace that they're at now, and I am glad that after the kissing game they really had that reevaluation moment.
Right.
I'm also really happy, and we'll talk about the hideaway. I'm really happy that they weren't the ones sent into the hideaway.
Yes. I thought they would have been at a 100%. I'm really happy they weren't, because I think that would have accelerated the relationship even faster. And I don't think they need that right now. And I think the people that ended up in the hideaway were the right people to be there for that time period. I have a theory. I think Ekin and Curtis might have been the first choice. And one of them said, no, not us right now.
Yeah.
Because the way they edited it looked like...
We'll talk about the edit. I wrote down the same thing.
It looked like that wasn't the first choice. It was like, oh, yeah, okay then. And I agree. I think they needed it. I think they needed it more than anybody else needed it, because we'll talk about it. But let's get to this fallout, because the fallout of Vegas night happens and Scott and Luca are annoyed because what Luca did, bringing up how Scott was having doubts about Tina, was foul. It was so
Like, for
foul.
what reason?
It was so disrespectful to Tina. It was rude to Scott when Scott was like, this is a bro conversation that we were having. I'm not telling her anything because I don't, it's not anything that deep that I want her to feel like I'm doubting this relationship. What I'm doubting is, are we moving at the same pace in this villa? That's all he was doubting. And I was like, there's nothing wrong with what Scott said. And there was nothing wrong with what Scott did.
No. I think Scott is one of the most mature people in this villa. Like, I really, really appreciate the way that's, and that goes for kind of this entire situation, going from Vegas night to the fallout from Vegas night into the morning. Like, I really, really appreciate everything that Scott did. And my favorite part of it is when we start this episode, one of the first things we see is Scott pulling Tina. And immediately, like, after Tina had her moment, which I'm glad she did, I'm glad she had her moment to kind of like let herself experience those emotions, because it's not good to hear something like that. But I'm really glad that Scott pulled Tina immediately and was just like, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I wanted to do this differently, but hey, this is how we're doing it now, whatever. I'm trying to figure out whether I'm fully in it. I don't know if we're at the same pace. Now, could he have communicated this better in this exact moment? Absolutely, 100%.
Absolutely.
But his adrenaline was really high. The entire situation had just happened. I think he was just trying to convey his thoughts as clearly as he could in that moment in order to not completely, like, the bridge was burning. The bridge was on fire. He was doing his best with a little pail of water trying to put out this fire.
Right.
That Luca had started by throwing a cigarette on the bridge. You know what I mean? Like, it's, I appreciate him for at least putting in effort there. I do also really appreciate Tina being like, I understand, it is what it is. I'm going to withdraw because now I need to protect myself. And I don't remember whether it was this moment or whether it was the morning after conversation, but Tina said something really insightful where she was like, I came in with my walls down and his walls were up. And now after this situation, his walls have come down a little bit. Mine are right back up there.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate her. Like, Tina is also one of the most mature women in this villa. Really appreciating Tina. But yeah, I understand everyone's scenario here, except for Luca. I still don't even really understand what are we, okay, here's my theory. What are we not seeing that caused Luca to say this about Scott in that moment? Like, for me, it felt really out of pocket.
I think what we saw in that moment was two brothers who are very close. And the little brother felt like the older brother was like niggling him, was like just needling him. Da, da, da. And when Scott said, oh, I can say something, but I ain't gonna say it. And so that let Luca be like, what? You got something you want to say? And he was like, no, I ain't got nothing to say. No, you got something to say, because why would you bring up the fact that you got something to say, but you don't want to say it? And he was like, well, I'm trying to be respectful for you, but it's not respectful, because if you're thinking it, you might as well say it. So I think Luca was on high alert, because right just before then, when they were like kiss the island, when Scott kissed Grace, and Luca was already a little annoyed by that. And then the fact that Scott was like, oh, I think Luca felt like Scott was purposefully needling him, just poking a bear, just purposely poking him for some reason. In his mind, it was no reason at all why he needed to be poking him. Like, he ain't do nothing to him. And so Luca felt like Scott was poking him, and Scott was like, Scott took it as just banter among friends, like they normally do. And Luca took it a little personally. And it happens. Sometimes our intentions are not always how things are perceived. And so Scott's intention of just having some fun banter with Luca perceived it as him being a jerk and needling him and poking at him for no reason. So it happens. Miscommunication is a thing. It goes on. It happens. And I get it. But what I don't get is why Luca decided to just throw Brokehold completely out the window in that moment, because they had made a pact not to mention this to the girls earlier in that episode, because they knew if you tell the girls, it's going to get back to Tina. And so
Yeah.
he was like, and all the guys who Scott trusted, he told that to. He told that to Ronnie, he told that to Casey, and he told that to Luca. He didn't tell it to everybody in the villa. He just talked to those 3 guys, and those were the people who he trusted the most. And so he was like, so none of us will tell the girls this, so it won't get back to Tina. I'm just having a few doubts. But that's a me thing, not a Tina thing. Like, he let that be known and he let it be clear. So for Luca to throw that in his face was completely childish. His age showed in that moment.
Because he's what, like my
he's 24.
Oh,
he's
God,
like 24.
Yeah, child.
Yeah, he's a child, and in that moment it just showed. He was like,
yeah,
he felt like somebody was poking at him, and so he retaliated. To when he felt like Scott got low, he went to hell, and he was gonna make sure he was gonna do it. And he felt bad afterwards because of him hurting Tina was unnecessary. Because you were mad at Scott, you weren't mad at Tina. But what you did was you used Tina as collateral damage, and he felt bad for it instantly. But because Tina had every right to be upset, she had every right to be upset. Yeah. She had every right to like tell Scott, I don't know what this is. I don't like it. If you got doubts, you should just tell me. I'm not trying to be your one and only right now. It's still early.
Right.
I'm just trying to enjoy these moments. We're just trying to have a good time. Like, y'all taking stuff way too seriously right now. And I feel like a lot of people in the villa are doing that. They're trying to be the couple of all couples, and they want to be like they've been in a relationship for years, and you only been in a relationship for 2 weeks, and you're not even in a real relationship. At most, and you're not even in a real relationship. You're just talking to people. You're getting to know them.
Like, there's only one couple that's closed off at this point. It's Ekin and Curtis. Like, everyone else is still,
And even in them, I'm like, why are we closed off with a week or 2? Like, that's crazy talk. That's crazy talk. They act like they have never done Love Island before. But everybody is we want the public to like us. And we want everybody to think we're the great couple, that they are missing out on the real experience of being in the island, on Love Island.
Absolutely.
Where you can take your time, get to know so many different people, find the right connection, and then spend that time getting to know and nurturing that connection. Once you find that person, take that time. But it doesn't have to be, we all in love in week 2. That's crazy.
Well, and for some couples, it is that way, though. Like, we've seen over Love Island seasons, like, there are just some people that come in, immediately find a person, stay with that person, and be successful and make it to the end of the show. Like, there are some couples that do that, but I absolutely agree with you. Enjoy the process. Like, y'all know each other. This is just a big incestuous, like, pit in South Africa. Enjoy the fact that you're on Love Island again in South Africa. Like, I don't understand why people are not enjoying the process more. And I would like to see these people. That's been my biggest critique of this season, honestly, is I feel like a lot of people are not enjoying the process. And they're just treating it like an extended holiday.
Right.
And I'm like, I would like people to enjoy the process. That's why I really appreciated Montel coming in and immediately, like, not just beelining for one person, but kind of having a couple different people that he was interested in. That's why I appreciate, and I hope that with the 2 new bombshells we're getting going into the next episode, I really hope that they come in and really kind of shake things up, because it would be nice. And I thought that's what Ron and Grace were going to do. And then Ron has literally just been milquetoast for me. Like,
nothing.
Legitimately nothing. I do want to talk about Grace, though, because in this moment, after we get the fight, Luca and Grace are talking. Luca's getting a little bit annoyed at Grace, and I love that Grace put him right in his place. I was like, you better. You better. And I hadn't been, I'm not the world's biggest fan of Grace. I don't know her from her previous seasons, whatever. But I really appreciated her being like, I don't understand why you're doing this right now, but you don't need to be doing this towards me. I'm in a couple with you. I'm supposed to be on your side, and you're making it to the point where I don't want to be on your side. So
Mm-hmm.
you need to fix that because this is on you. This has nothing to do with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I really appreciated that at the very least, she's putting him in his place. Now, do I think Grace is the absolute perfect pick for Luca? I don't know. And we get a conversation from them the next day where they're like, where Luca's talking about, after him and Scott resolve all the things, and after him and Tina resolve all the things, which we'll probably touch on here in a second. They have a conversation where they're talking about like their whole situation, and he's like, I really never thought I would find love until you walked in here. Like, baby, you're 24. You've been on Love Island before, and this is how you're like, if you had told me that this was a season full of all-stars and they just added on Luca and he wasn't, on Love Island before, I would absolutely believe you. Because he doesn't act like it.
I just feel like Luca. Well, let me start with the grace, because the grace of it all, I really appreciate her in that moment. I like that she was like, I'm not going to sit here and coddle you and hold your hand and tell you that you're right when you're wrong. I'm going to support you in your rights, but I will tell you about yourself and your wrongs.
Yeah.
And she was like, this right here, you were wrong. You did not have to do that to Tina. She did not deserve that. I want to be on your side, but in this moment, I can't be because you were wrong. And I'm not going to sit here and placate your feelings about it either. And I appreciate that so much for her, that she is like very open and honest about her feelings about it and not letting him get away with it. But she was also like, but I want to be on your side. And I want to be here for you. And I think in that moment, I think he appreciated her for her strength and for her, her pushing him and challenging him. Because I don't care what you say. Guys do not like, well, some guys, I won't say all guys. Some guys like a pushover girl who they can just tell what to do. But some guys like a challenge. Some guys like to be, it's a little give and take on both ends. And so I feel like Luke is that type of guy who likes a little bit of give and take on both ends. A little
Curtis
push.
Is the kind of guy
Curtis is that kind of guy who likes pushing to give and take. Curtis likes intense women, and I've seen that. We've seen it now with Ekisu. We saw it when he was on Love Island Games with Lisa. He's just attracted to intense women, and that's fine. He just has to learn how to deal with all that. But I think the conversation that they did have the next day about, finding each other and blah, blah, blah. I do think Grace is good for Luca. I think Grace is good for Luca at this moment. I think she is, because Luca's he's still very young-minded sometimes, and she's a little bit more mature. So she pulls him into her world where he's like, okay, I have to stop and think about it and not just be jokey Luca, because that ain't what she is about. So she's teaching him how to be better. And I love that. And he's teaching her how to let loose a little bit, because I think Grace is a little stuffy sometimes. And now she knows that she doesn't have to be that around Luca. She can just be herself, and he appreciates her. So I think they are a good cute little match for now. They will be tested. And I think once that happens, we'll see what happens. But as of right now, I think Grace and Luca are good for each other. He was really excited about her, and he wasn't excited about anybody before this. So I love that he was like, okay, finally, this is a person who I feel like I could be excited about. I could be, give all my all and show that I can be this person without feeling like a stupid young idiot. Like, a lot of people have taken him for. Like, he's just a child. So I think this is a relationship show. I do. I think they're fine. But the Scott and Luca of it all, they had after. Tina and Luca talked the next morning. They talked, and he kind of like apologizes because he was like, I shouldn't have done that. That wasn't my place to say that. I never wanted to hurt you, and seeing you cry, he said, I've been raised around a lot of women, and I I've been told never hurt a girl's feelings on purpose, and that's not what I tried to do. So I apologize. And Tina was like, I get it. I understand it.
Immediately squashed it, and I loved
They
it.
squashed it. It was done. And it was like, and she was like, we're
A
good.
refreshing change for this season, I'll be honest. It was wildly refreshing to see this entire sequence of events happen, quite honestly.
Because right after we see Tina and Luca talk, we see Scott go to Luca and pull him to talk. And he was like, bruh, I just didn't know who you were in that moment, but I apologize for pushing you to that point. And Luke was like, I apologize that I pushed you to that point. And they immediately squashed it. And he was like, Luca was crying. He was like, I hate it because I look up to you. You're like my brother in here. And I shouldn't have done that. And Scott was like, I get it. I shouldn't have pushed you because I kept pushing you and I kept pushing you. I shouldn't have pushed you to that point. And I apologize. We're brothers, we're bros, we go squash it. And they did. And again, wildly refreshing from what we
incredibly refreshing.
And so it was good. It was good to see them squash that beef and let it go.
My favorite part of these two episodes, though, is it's a bunch of the guys sitting on the beanbags.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Curtis turning to Luke and being like, "You're gonna talk to Scott?"
And Luke was like, "Maybe, well, probably." And
no, Luca doesn't even say anything. Scott comes up and goes, "Hey, Luca, can we go for a chat?" And Curtis goes, "I guess so."
Luca, no, that was Luca who said, "I guess now." I love it. I love that.
I love them. But no, I'm really, really happy that, I'm really happy that all of that went down. It was wildly refreshing, unlike other things. I guess we got to talk about them.
Well, let's talk about the hideaway first. Let's talk about the couple who went to the hideaway because.
Well, I mean,
that was the next episode, was it? No,
that's the next episode.
Okay, well then let's talk.
Yeah, we gotta talk about Ronnie and Harriet as much as
I was trying to move.
I know. Okay, all right. I know. I mean, I'm gonna say this: the flags are as red as this beautiful hair you have on right now, Lana. Like the flags are red, baby. He goes, I do not understand this man. First and foremost, I do not understand this man. I find him so cringy. I find him creepy. I'm going to be honest. Y'all can have your opinions on Ronnie however you want. I do not care. This is my opinion. My social media is down below. And if you want to come for me in that regard, feel free. But I'm going to continue with my opinion. I find him creepy. I find him almost borderline predatory at this point. So they go in while all of the Scott and Lucas stuff is happening. Ronnie decides, oh, okay, I'm going to pull Harriet for a conversation and take her to the secret garden. I'm like, now when has this been successful for you, Ronnie? Ronnie is basically the only person this season that has used the secret garden. By the way, love the secret garden. Mm-hmm. Love that addition. Mm-hmm. Hate how it's been used for the most part so far. Mm-hmm. But I love the addition of the secret. And also this villa.
Lovely villa.
Love this villa. Love this villa. Love the South African villa. But they go to the secret garden. He's professing his love again. And in this moment, I was like, God, he really said fuck Elma. Mm-hmm. He really said fuck Elma. And I have not been the world's biggest fan of Elma this whole season. I feel for the girl. I like her a little bit more now, and we'll talk about what happens in episode 14, obviously. But they profess their love, whatever. Ronnie has a whole moment of coming into the dressing room trying to talk to Tina, and I didn't get that either. But Kaz, after the secret garden, obviously they kissed. Harriet tells the girls that they kissed. Kaz decides for some reason she's going to tell Elma that they kissed. I'm like, again, beating the dead horse. The horse has been dead for several days, Kaz. The horse has been dead for several days. Why? Why does Elma need to know this information?
Can I tell you this? These girls are the most gossipiest, loose-lipped girls I've ever seen on any version of Love Island that I've watched.
I wouldn't even say these girls. I would say Kaz and Ekin-Su.
No, all of them. I'm putting Catherine in there too. Like
Okay,
these
yeah.
girls, all of
Trying to save
them.
my girl, but yeah.
No, Catherine, Gabby, Ekansu, Kaz, and all of them. All of these girls are the most loose-lipped, gossipiest girls I have ever seen on any version of Love Island that I have watched. They can't go a minute. Grace, you included in that too. Like you can't go a second with somebody telling you something where you feel the need to go run behind and tell the other person exactly what you heard. And they do it
And we'll
all
talk
the
about
time.
Ekansu again in a
Yeah,
little bit.
because it's just so much. Like they have the need to just yep. All of them talk so much, and I guess it's because they in that villa with nothing else to do but talk. And they sit there and they just talk about each other, and then they run around telling each other what he said. And it's a game of telephone, and what he said, and what she said, and what they said, and what we
because
did.
they're all so secure in their relationships that they gotta do their thing with the people that aren't secure in their relationships. It's like, for what reason? Why are we doing like? Because then, fast forward, there's a whole situation. Harriet's talking with the girls in the dressing room, and she's talking about like, and I'm pretty sure it's Ekin that straight up asks her, "Oh, well, would you be open to talking to other guys in here?" And she's like, "Yeah, I owe it to myself. My last experience was all Ronnie. I owe it to myself to be open to the process." I'm like, "Thank you, Harriet." And then that is the last time I'm going to praise Harriet in this episode.
No, because see, here's the thing. Harriet is doing everything right in this situation. I understand you have history with someone. Just because I don't like Ronnie, don't mean we can erase the history between Harriet and Ronnie. They have history. Yeah. And her feelings are not just going to fade away just because she decides I'm going to go back into this Love Island and try different things. It's still going to be a history, and her love for Ronnie that she had for him is not just going to easily fade away. So I'm not mad at her for dibbling and dabbling back and forth with Ronnie. That's not a problem because everybody does it. I want to see one person who been in a situation with their ex, who they broke up with and didn't have a slip up with their ex every now and again, or if you've been in close proximity with them. It's comfortable. It's familiarity. Yeah. So I get it. Not mad at her. What I'm upset with, not with her, but Ekansu and all the girls, because when they're asking her like, "Hey, are you open to talking to other guys?" She's like, "Absolutely, I am." They're like, "But what about Ronnie? Do you love him?" She's like, "I love Ronnie. I'm just not in love with Ronnie the same way I was before," which is very much fair because after being hurt so many times, the love that you felt for somebody, it fades. And so she was like, "I still have love in my heart for this man, of course, but am I in love with him, like googly eyes in love with him? No, absolutely not." And so when she says this, and then Ronnie and her have a conversation, and she's telling him like, "Yes, I do have feelings for you," which are true. She does have feelings for him. Yes, she missed him. She has missed him. She's like, "But I am here for the experience of Love Island. I am going to enjoy the whole experience, regardless of how you feel or not. I just love it."
As she should.
As she should. And Ronnie goes and he's very happy with the conversation that they just had. He's like, "I'm feeling good about it," which is fine.
I mean, as he should be. Honestly, it was a good conversation at that time. He should be happy.
He should.
Here comes Ekansu.
Ekansu says, "Oh, wait, somebody's happy? Hold on, let me pour some not happy juice."
Hold my beer. Like,
right.
But still, honestly, I'm living for it.
I wasn't living for this. I wasn't living for this. I still live for Ekansu. I wasn't living for this moment.
Fair.
But when she was like, "Don't get your hopes up because she's not in love with you." And I was like, "Ekansu, tell the whole story."
Girl,
tell the whole story.
Oh Lord, not Ekansu.
Tell the whole story. Like, don't just put it out in context. Like, she's not in love with you. Don't get your hopes up.
If you're gonna be a good shit stirrer, which she is for the most part, At least tell the whole story, girl.
Like, she's open to talk to other people. That's like,
oh Lord, I can sue.
And so of course, Ronnie, hearing all this, he flipping out for no reason. And now he's like, Harriet, I need to talk to you. She's like, what? What is happening? Why would you tell the girls that you're not in love with me? She was like, because I'm not. Like,
here is what I will say as well.
Here's I will have a problem with Harriet in this moment too.
Well, I appreciate that Harriet literally was like, okay, let's bring in Ekin-Su. Let's bring in Ekin-Su.
I didn't like
to figure out what happened.
I didn't like that she was like, I didn't say that. I'm like, girl, yes, you did. You did
but
say
you
that.
did though.
But you did though. Let's be honest. She should have been like, yes, I said that because I don't. But she was trying to figure out a way to get out of it because she didn't want to have that confrontation with Ronnie.
She literally was like, I don't want to have this conversation right now. I'm like, oh, well, baby, here's the problem. You're going to have this conversation right now because that's what's happening now.
So the best bet is to just be honest and let it all out. But when she brought in Ekin-Su, I was like...
I love that she brought in Ekin-Su here. And Ekin-Su was like, nope, here's exactly what happened.
And she was like,
Ronnie was still pressed.
Still pressed. And then Harry was like, okay, no. Do I love you like I loved you before? No. But do I still have love in my heart?
I have love for you, but I'm not in love with you. That's so valid.
Like, I don't know what he wants from her. I don't know what he wants from her.
Here's the thing. Here's the other thing.
Well, I know what he wants from her, but...
There have been moments, and I've been writing them down in my notes. I'm like, I'm going to make sure that I'm noting whenever things get weird. The way Ronnie talks to Harriet, and more specifically about Harriet.
Two different things.
It is very concerning. And at one point, I don't remember exactly what the conversation was. It was the morning after we see Tina reeling from the Scott and Lucas situation. And Ronnie says that Harriet is his. I was like, nope, red flags, sound the alarm, wee woo, wee woo, wee woo, wee woo, girl, get out of there. It does not matter if you have love for him. It does not matter. Like, wee woo, girl, you're in danger. Harriet, you're in danger, girl. Get out.
The way this man was like, you think I'm going to sit here and watch you talking to other guys and doing all that? No, you're not mugging me off like that. I'm not going
to put up with that.
I'm not putting up with that. I was like, putting up with that? No.
Wee woo.
Like, no. Baby,
absolutely not.
It was not. No. He's very territorial.
He's so territorial. I pray that the people close to Harriet on the outside, once she's out of the villa, whether she's with him or without him, I hope that the people around her take a really good look at the way that Ronnie has been speaking to her and about her on this season. Show her what's happened and be like, girl, no, we can't let you do this again.
Right.
We can't let you do this again. Now, he might have all of the best intentions. And I do fundamentally believe that he has good intentions now with Harriet, not knowing their full story. Again, context, not knowing their full story.
Right. Me too.
I believe he has good intentions with her, but the way, like we said, the way that he is speaking to her and about her, wee woo, no thank you. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah, it's wild. It's kind of wild, but they do they figure it out to a point where he's like, okay, and then they have oh gosh, it's so many moments. It's so many moments with them that I'm just like, oh God, does this ever end with them? But
no, I don't think it's going. I thought it was going to by the end of episode 14, but no. Apparently the public likes him or some bullshit. Anyway, can we talk about that?
Okay. Because so Casey and Gabby ends up getting the hideaway for the night, and I'm like, yay, good, because I feel like certain people need certain things in relationships to happen for them to establish things and figure out what they want and not want, if this is good and not good. Gabby is a sexual person. She needs that intimacy. Casey is Casey also is a sexual being, but he is more like this. He knows what he wants, and he's like, Gabby is who I want to be with. Gabby is the one who's still teetering, like, I don't know, I'm not sure. But
given her start on this season, I understand why she's still a little. I also, complete side note, am so happy that her and Marcel completely full circle. Loved to see it.
It was such a good. It was a good. That's why I wanted Marcel still to be in this thing, because
me too.
As far as like they were each other's comfort zone.
Yeah.
For just to see each other throughout the day, but they weren't trying to interfere in anybody's relationships or what happened, their experience on Love Island. I love that. I love seeing people who went from lovers to bitter exes to now being able to become friends, and to a point where not only are we friends, but I can just sit here and talk to you about what's happening in my new relationship, and you not judging me, and we're not judging each other, and we helping each other out, and it's lovely. It was lovely to see. I liked her reaction even when Marcel left. She was like, I can't believe that we reached that point. I love we reached that point. He was comfortable for me. And I'm so sad to see him go. And I was like, oh, I love that for them. But Gabby is somebody who is very much she needs that intimacy to figure out her feelings. And so I felt like them going to the hideaway was what they needed for them to say, okay, yep, we can move forward, or no, this ain't gonna go nowhere. And it was nice. Their hideaway was nice. I think US hideaway was better, but their hideaway was nice. Their hideaway was really nice.
Now here's the thing, Lana. We both love some purple.
Mm-hmm.
So personally, I'm a little bit more inclined to this Love Island All-Stars hideaway.
I like a
purple.
It was all right. I like the US hideaway it was bigger, more spacious, more stuff.
But I like this one because it feels a little bit more intimate. Like it feels like, yes, there was more space in the US one, but I like this one felt a little bit more intimate. Like the mood felt a little bit nicer. Both of them were really good. I would happily be in either one of them. Yes. But yeah, I don't know. I like this one a little bit. But I was so happy to see Gabby and Casey get it. Obviously, had a lovely time.
They had a great time.
I am happy for both of them.
I mean, it couldn't have been me, baby. You will never catch me doing that on TV to save my life. I'm just saying. I don't care. I don't care how personal and high and exclusive it is.
Right.
I'm not having sex on TV. I'm sorry.
Fair.
But if you want to do that, no judgment. Do you, boo boo? Yeah. I'm here for you, and I'm happy for them because they needed it.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I agreed with Gabby. I was a little bit upset that Casey did not show up in his Speedo because I do agree. I think he is at his best when he is in a Speedo. I agree, Gabby. I agree with you completely, girl. I'm with you on that for sure.
It's fine. But they came out of the hideaway so happy, and they felt very connected, and I love that for them because I'm like, yeah, why not? They should be able to do that.
For some people, that is what they need.
That's what they need.
And I'm glad that they got it.
Absolutely. And it was so evident seeing them the next day and seeing how they reacted. And
immediately.
And see, and that happens. And I tell people, like the young girls who come through and who I talk to, I'm like, baby, I know when you've taken that step. Everybody knows when you've taken that step because things get more. It's a change in you. When you've taken that step for the first time or with someone, your whole demeanor shifts and changes in whatever direction it's going to. If it was really good, oh my God, you can't get enough of that person.
If it's bad,
it's you withdraw completely. So. We know. And it was like one of those things, like she felt like a young girl again, having that moment for the first time with someone. And she was glowing after that. And I love that for her. And I love that for him because he needed the reassurance from her. because
Yes.
he has been struggling with reassurance. And which is wild because Casey came in, everybody was like, "Oh, he's a player. He just likes to play
Right.
around. He's this, he's not, he's he's an F boy, he's not go
Right.
for real relationship." And he was struggling with Gabby not being more reassuring to him because he's like, "I like her. I want to be with her. I need her to be with me, but I don't know how she feels." And every moment and every turn where she could give me reassurance, she doesn't give it to me. She'll give it to somebody else. And he was kind of a little shaky. But now I think they have that reassurance. I like them as a couple. I like them. And I didn't think I was going to like them as a couple at the beginning. I was like, oh no.
Oh, interesting.
I didn't know. When he came in, I wasn't sure about him, but he has grown on me, and I'm like, okay. Gabby has grown on me. I'm like, I like her. I like her at best when her walls are coming down, and she's. I love this. I love this for them.
She's a lot more comfortable in the process.
Yes,
like I said earlier,
she's enjoying the process.
Given what I understand about her first time and like it kind of being dominated by Marcel, I understand coming in, having a little bit of a like, "Ooh, well, I'm back in the same place with the same person. We got coupled up immediately.
Yep.
Thanks, public."
I was like, 30 for that. Wrong.
Playing in her face. And
playing in both of their faces. I hated that for them. I was like,
I hated it. I'm so happy that they've come to this place now, and I'm really, really happy for both of them. So, but then we get the all-star beach part, whatever the fuck Ian Sterling was saying in the voiceover.
All those beach parties, raves,
beach party, palooza,
rave.
I meant to write it down and I never did. Side note, I just love hearing Ian Sterling's voice again.
Yeah,
I really do appreciate him. He is what makes Love Island the best. Yeah, and I haven't watched any of the other versions that don't feature narration by Ian Sterling. We'll see if I like them nearly as much, but this is his gig, and I'm happy that he's getting his coin and doing what he needs to do. And I just shout out to Ian Sterling.
Shout out to Ian. He's great. But they're at the Vibe Club and they're having their beach party, all-star beach party. And I was like, okay, is this where the bombshells show up? Are they going to walk in and 2 new bombshells are going to be there? And it was like, nope. That would be the perfect place, right? No. That's not what they did. They had a party. They danced. Everybody had a good time. Drinks were flowing. DJ was DJing. And then all of a sudden, we have the gorgeous, the beautiful, the stunning Maya Jama making her way in there. But before we do that, there's some things I want to talk about.
I have one moment that stood out to me because this was such a fluff episode. 14 was such a fluff episode, I gotta be honest. Yeah. Obviously, we're setting up for the fact that, okay, cool, we're getting, an elimination of some kind. We obviously didn't know what kind of elimination yet. But we're bouncing back and forth between this conversation with Elma and Gabby and this conversation with Curtis, Naz, and Casey, and they're talking about the hideaway stuff. Elma, what the fuck is twinge minge? Like, I understand the concept, but I have never in my life heard that phenomenon referred to as such.
I would like for anybody in the comments to tell us what that is, if you know.
Oh, I have a good idea.
I mean, I have an idea, but I want to know for sure.
But yes.
Go ahead.
Oh, but then, we got to talk about Ronnie and Harriet. The full rehashing of why they broke up.
Oh, yeah.
Because we get that here.
Yeah.
Out of absolute nowhere.
Oh, well, it didn't come out of nowhere because we got to talk about what happened the night before when he asked her was she with anybody else before. And after they broke up. And she was like, why would you even ask me that? And he gets mad because she says yes. Like, Of course I was with somebody else after we broke up. Like, why wouldn't I be? We broke up. And he get
He
mad.
woo. He woo.
I mean, and storms off. And she's like, are you really mad? Whatever. Like, you can't be mad when you cheated first.
Exactly.
And when she still claims he didn't cheat. He still says he didn't cheat. And she's like, bruh, would you not kissing somebody else?
And then it goes into this conversation that we got at the All-Star Vibe Party Beach-a-Palooza extravaganza, yes God, where they're rehashing. And for those of us that don't know the full story, I was like, thank you for the rehashing. I do appreciate having the contextual knowledge of what happened here. Thank you, Harriet. And even still, Ronnie is still not admitting that he cheated. Like, girl. We woo, we woo. We woo.
And little side note, Ronnie creeps me out. Not for just the really for what he's saying. It's what he does. When he talks, he does this thing where he goes,
and his eyes bulge out a little bit, and he's like,
and he makes that sound in the microphone. So all we hear is, and I hate that sound.
No,
it just makes my skin crawl. And so every time he's just sitting there, he's like, and we have to hear that. It just,
like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's giving serial killer vibe. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't like saying that about people I don't know, but like, it really just is giving that vibe to me. I'm not Team Ronnie. No.
Earlier in the season, I was like, yes, Ronnie, get away from Elma. I think you don't need that in your life. And now I'm like
Elma, thank God you got away.
You saved yourself. And woo, child, because this man's wild. But yeah, they rehash everything, and I'm like, dude, you cheated. Why won't you admit you cheated? It's okay, you cheated. Y'all broke up. She got with somebody else afterwards. You cheated. And he's like, well, you lied to me. She was like, after everything you did to me. Every action has a reaction. Your action caused this reaction from me.
Exactly.
So don't sit here and act like you are the one wrong. You are not the victim here. You are the victimizer. You victimized her. You did that. And she reacted because of what you did. So you can't be mad. It's just like, oh my God, we woo. You are just, woo. You are a walking red flag right now. A huge red flag. But yeah, that conversation happened. And I was just like, oh, Jesus, Lord to death. But then Maya comes in looking wonderful in her netted dress.
Gorge. Love Maya Jama. Big fan of Maya Jama.
She's so gorgeous. She's so gorgeous.
Truly big fan of Maya Jama. Very happy.
Huge fan.
Very happy.
Huge fan.
But yeah, she comes in, and this is where we find out
that the public's been voting.
The public's been voting
for the favorite girl and the favorite guy. And I found out in this moment that me and the public are not on the same page.
And I also found out in this moment that me and the public are not on the same page.
Oh, okay. Well,
we find out that the favorite girl is Elma, which, okay.
It makes sense for what happened.
Given everything that's happened for her, I understand. And I'm like, glad. Yeah. I was a little confused, honestly, why it wasn't Gabby. Because that, given everything, that's probably who I would have voted for. Or Catherine, but that's just me.
That's just me. Those would have been mine too.
Yeah. We find out that the favorite boy is Luca.
And since they voted prior to Vegas night, I understood.
I definitely understood it, given that. I don't even know necessarily who I would have voted. It probably would have been
Curtis.
Curtis or Casey.
Curtis. It would have been Curtis. 100% Curtis for me.
It probably would have been Curtis or Casey for me.
I would have
really
been
the
Curtis.
only guys that I'm enjoying.
I
And
would
Scott.
I would say it would have been Curtis or Scott for me. Curtis or Scott for me at that point.
Okay.
But
so
yeah, they are the two highest vote getters. Great on them. But the lowest vote getters, it was going to be two girls were going to be vulnerable, 2 boys were going to be vulnerable. And the first girl to be vulnerable was Tina.
Doesn't surprise me.
Doesn't surprise me. I feel like she's been very low key, not a lot.
And I think that is the major difference between when they voted. Like if they had voted, voting before Vegas night versus voting after Vegas night, I feel like the results would have been absolutely complete different. Opposite. I feel like Tina would have been most popular, honestly.
Yeah.
But
it was the time.
Yeah.
And then the other girl who was voted the least was Cass.
No.
I said, I don't like that, but I understand why the public would say that.
I absolutely get it because we have to remember these people are British.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. I understand.
Cass on American television will be perfectly fine.
Oh yeah, no. Cass on Love Island USA would have gotten like all the votes.
Everybody was like that. She's that girl. She's good. She's doing what she's supposed to do on Love Island.
Personally, I'm going to say that this is not shade to the people of the United Kingdom because most of you that I've interacted with in my life have been lovely and wonderful people. What do y'all have against people playing a game? What do y'all have? And that goes for Love Island. That goes for Big Brother. That goes for all the shows. But I think the one thing I have never understood about the British public when it came to voting shows is like, what do you have against? I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it.
You don't like people actually doing what they're supposed to do in Love Island, which is to meet and talk to different people and make connections. You don't like that. Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, but Kaz is it. And I was like, okay, I understand. But the first boy who was voted the least was Nas. Not surprised.
Not
surprised at all. I was like, he gives me nothing. His Mr. Slow Burn. You are Mr. Slow Don't. You are Mr. Don't Burn.
I like him.
I like him, but he is Mr. Don't Burn. He is not burning at all.
Oh, at all.
At all. And I'm like, I don't know what you want.
And the other boy did not surprise me either.
No, it was Montel. He just got there. Look here. The British public don't like people of color. I get it.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. I
was surprised Catherine wasn't nominated, to be honest.
I fully, when they were like, oh yeah, no, it's gonna be 2 and 2. I was like, all right, it's gonna be Kaz and Catherine, it's gonna be Naz and Montel. It's literally all the people of color. I am surprised that I think the only reason Catherine didn't get voted or got in this case, I guess, got voted and got some votes was just because she hasn't really gotten the opportunity to really explore anything. But I was like, if they put all 4 people of color in this bottom 4, I'm gonna scream, cry, and throw up. Like,
I was like, I see where we're going, but it doesn't really matter.
No, but we find out that of these 4,
only one person.
Only one of them is going to get saved. 3 people are getting dumped. And I don't know about you, Lana, but immediately I was like, well, I know exactly what's about to happen.
Yep.
Got it.
I knew from the second they said it was only one person being saved. I was like, well.
And it made the most sense.
It made the most sense.
In the most logical and correct way, this was the correct choice that should have been made.
But the person who was saved was Tina.
Yeah.
So that meant Kaz and Montel.
No.
They just got their couple together. They were both feeling each other.
They were such a good couple.
They were just starting to work it out and love on each and feel and start feeling the passion. But they're gone. And Nas was the other one.
No. Not as disappointed, but still upset.
Very upset.
Okay. Here is my question to the British public. Who the fuck out there is voting for Ronnie? Genuinely. If you voted for Ronnie, please sound off. Because who the fuck in their right mind is voting for Ronnie? Because this was not a vote to eliminate situation. This was vote for your favorite. Who out there is voting for Ronnie as their favorite? Please enlighten me. Because I don't get it. That man is a walking red flag ready to combust at any given time. So please enlighten me if you voted for him. Because I don't get it.
I don't get it.
At all.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. But just know, he's still here.
And I'm upset about that.
Yeah. And we see Tina come back with, first Elma and Luca are devastated. Elma is bawling to Kaz. Kaz is like, it's okay. We're friends. It's good. It makes sense. This makes sense. Because it does. This made sense because Nas, he just wasn't doing nothing. Kaz and Montel, y'all leaving together, but y'all just start y'all journey. Y'all could go together. If we broke them up, that would make no sense at all.
It really was like, okay, they're not going to save Montel or Kaz at all. And I understand not wanting to do it. I felt for Alma here. I really did. Obviously, her and Kaz are really good friends. It hurt her deeply. This is the moment where I have honestly liked Alma the most. Is just seeing how absolutely devoted she was at having to eliminate her friend. Right. I am happy, though, that she made the right choice, ultimately, because I think of the people in relationships, if you're only able to save, if they were able to save two people, guaranteed Montel and Kaz would have been saved. 100% in my mind. Absolutely. But since it's only one, like, especially with what just happened with Luca and Tina and Scott, like, there's no universe Luca could have gone back to that villa and had any shot at any kind of friendship with Scott if he didn't save Tina. Yeah, right. Like, there's no universe. Yeah. It sucks because I really do wish that Montel and Kaz had an opportunity to really develop that in the villa. I hope they continue outside of it. He seems all kinds of into her. She seems all kind of into him. I like them together. I wish them nothing but the best. Yeah, I think they'll be fine if they. I think they'll be good. To see what happens outside the villa. That's great. I don't remember where they both live relative to each other. I also don't know British geography like that. So, I'm that typical dumb American. I don't know. But we see Tina and come back with Luca and Elma, and everybody's very relieved. Scott is very relieved to see Tina. And I think this is the kick in the butt for Scott that he needed to realize, like, oh my God, I almost lost you in this moment. I certainly hope so. And I didn't. And so hopefully he'll be able to be okay and, give her what she wants in this relationship. She gives him what he needs in this relationship. Yeah. And they can both be on the same page. We'll see how that happens in the next episode. But we do see the last talk show moment with Maya, with Kaz and Montel and Nas. And Nas made a joke that he felt like he was the third wheel. And I'm like, you are, because you always been the entire season. But Kaz and Montel said they were willing to see where this goes outside of the relationship. So I'm very happy to see that. And it was just good. It was just a good farewell, goodbye to them. And they took it well. They all understood the reason why they were chosen to go. I think as soon as all of them realized that only one person was getting
Yep,
saved, they looked
they
over
knew.
and was like, "Oh, well, Tina's right there. Cool, we're fucked."
Right.
I
But
mean, there's really not much you can do at that point.
nope.
So,
But that is that, y'all. That is episodes 13 and 14. And I can't wait for Logan to watch 15. I already did. And I'm gonna jump and watch 16 soon. But
I didn't want to because knowing me, I'd be like, I want to talk about what happened in 15.
I
And I'm not good at discerning that kind of information always. So,
I can't wait for you to watch it. It's interesting. But we're gonna be right back here on Saturday to talk about episodes 15 and 16. It's been Logan. I'm glad you're back. It's good to have you back.
I'm really glad to be back. I didn't realize how much I needed to bitch about straight people for an hour. I'm glad to be here.
But it's good to have you back. And thank you all for joining us. If you haven't done it already, hit the subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button right now and follow us on this channel. Thank you. And then you can follow us on all of our other channels. All those things will be in the description below, as well as our audio podcast links, so you can check us out on the go, and our Patreon to get all the early access and exclusive content across all 4 channels. And follow us on all of our socials at The Cup Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. You can follow Logan and I. Ours down there. My Instagram is right there. And yeah, just follow us on all of those socials.
And if y'all want to find me on Instagram, y'all have. So it's not that difficult.
And then get your cup merch. Period. At lanagcreations.etsy.com. That link will be in the description below. And we're gonna get out of here. So cheers, y'all.
Cheers.
Bye.
Do 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 do.